Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop, howdy. Today I have a piece of cedar. This is from the same burned out log that we found on this property about 30 years ago. And I turned one piece of it, small bowl, a while back. I've trimmed it all up. All the rod is gone, all of the burned part is gone. There's no bug holes, which is really nice with cedar. And we're going to put a finish on this one. That one I did not put a finish on. I wanted to have the smell come through of the cedar. But this one, we're going to finish it and see what it looks like, so stand by. I have my woodworm screw in the chuck, and I've drilled a center hole here. So we'll just get this mounted up. I'm going to get my mask and face shield on. I think I'm going to use a 1/2 inch standard grind bowl gouge. And how fast can we turn here? I did cut it round, but it's not perfect. We'll start about 800 RPM. Even though it's shallow, I think we'll go with a tenon on here. I did resaw this piece and I probably didn't do a great job, so I want to flatten the surface here. I'm going to mark out for the tenon. Okay, let's work on our tenon and the base for this to sit on. I'm used to working with a 5/8 bowl gouge, and this is my 1/2 inch, and boy, it's getting hot. And this is a pretty soft wood, just lots of bevel rubbing, I guess. So now I will straighten up my tenon here, and for that I'll just use this diamond point tool. There is some tear out. I don't think there's much you can do about it on a soft wood like this. I can sharpen up and see if I can take one final pass and clean some of that up. Not very proud of that. Okay, let's see if that helps any. Maybe I can pick up the speed a little bit too. It's about 1100 RPM. Much better, much better. Still a little bit there, but I just don't think it can be avoided on this soft wood. Sand's easy anyway. Okay, and speaking of sanding, yeah, I guess it's that time. Stand by for sanding. Okay, I'm going to start at 80 grit in reverse at 375 RPM. So this should take me maybe 20 minutes or so, and then I'll bring you back when it's time to put some sanding sealer on here. Well, the sanding's done except for what I'm about to do. I decided to put a couple little grooves in here and then burn them in. So let's see. A couple of just decorative little close together grooves. Now I'm going to take this piece of counter laminate. Turn the speed up here. Yeah, that looks like something. So we'll get some finish on here in just a second. I imagine this is really going to soak it up, being such a soft wood. And it seems to be doing just that. So I'll probably take at least 3 coats of this sanding sealer. This is Zinsser Seal Coat shellac based sanding sealer, but you can put anything over it. That's one of the things they're most proud of. Well, it does bring that grain out, doesn't it? Looks a lot better than that piece I left unfinished. So this is going to take about a half hour between coats, so I'll see you back here in about an hour and a half. So time to turn this around and hollow it out. Well, I have a lot more of this cedar, so if this turns out like anything good, I'll have another go and I'll pay more attention to a great shape. Okay, I don't think we're going to need tailstock support. It's a pretty small piece. So let me get my mask and face shield on and sharpen up my bowl gouge once again, and we'll get to it. Well, I'm going to turn the camera off until I can figure it out. There's no point in making you watch all this. What do you think? Leave this flat, or bring the bowl all the way out here? I do have a little crack right out here. Dang it. I think that's a crack as well. Very, very, very small. I just don't know what shape to use. I'll be back. Well, I think I decided just to go ahead and bring the bowl all the way out here to the edge. If the grain was more beautiful, that's what I had in mind here, but it's not. So I'm just going to bring the bowl all the way out. Oh boy. Holy crap. I'm at a 1/16 of an inch on the bottom and about an 1/8 of an inch on the sides. Now I'm wondering, can I save this? I had no idea I was that close. Holy smokes. I don't know if I even got room to scrape it. This might have been a wasted afternoon. And that 1/16 of an inch doesn't count those grooves that I cut in the bottom. I'm telling you, this is thin. I kind of think I better just start sanding and hope for the best. Wow. What was I thinking? This is awful. Awful cuts. But at least it sands easy. I just don't feel like I can put it under any more stress. So let me clean up my area and we'll get to sanding. Holy cow. It's about the worst turning job I've ever done, so I'm relying on sandpaper to finish it up for me, but I just don't dare touch a chisel to it. Pretty thin. I'll work at this for a while. If there's anything left, I'll bring you back. Well, this is not my proudest moment, except that it's still in one piece. I'm amazed. Rather than power sanding, I hand sanded so that I could tell better and make it more controllable how close I was to going through. Because I'm telling you, it's that close. The only place there's any meat is right here in this corner. The bottom is less than 1/16 of an inch, and that, like I say, that does not include the grooves I cut in the bottom, which were probably 1/32 of an inch. So it's not a beautiful piece. I'm pretty ashamed of that part, but it is a piece, not multiple pieces, so I guess that's a good thing. So we'll see what it looks like after I get a couple of coats of this on here, and then shellac. Boy, doesn't look good yet. So I'll see you back here in a while. Well, it's still in one piece. That's good news. And here's some more good news. Look at, can you see the rays in that wood? That's showing up, I think. Look at that, that's pretty cool. So it's time to get this off of the lathe and take off that tenon. My gosh, it scares the heck out of me because this is so thin. But we'll try and keep it in one piece while we do that. Stand by. So I've mounted a block of wood up on my chuck. And then I'm just going to put this non-slip cloth up, and then the bowl, which is super thin. I don't know if this is going to stay together. It is so thin. I'm going to have to be really careful here. That's hardly any pressure. I'm just afraid to push too hard. Looks like it's centered well. I think that's just this flopping around. So I will get a 3/8 inch standard grind bowl gouge to work on this. Oh, it's irritating though, isn't it? Not much I can do about it. About 500 RPM. I have good clearance. I'm going to leave this circle in the middle. I'll sand it, of course, but I'm going to leave that there. And I'm going to switch to a swept back gouge so I can get in here tighter. That's already wanting to just break away. You know, I better not chance it. I'm just gonna, because it's so simple to sand this stuff, I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna weigh this when I'm done. I'll bet you it doesn't weigh much more than an ounce. It is super thin. So I will sand this up over here on the workbench. Well, there it is, and I'm glad it's done. I'm glad it's still in one piece. I'm surprised it's still in one piece. I wish I could say I'm really proud of it. It is, I'm sure, the thinnest piece I've ever done. I did take it in the house. I weighed it on a postal scale that we have. It weighs 3.5 ounces. It's just very, very thin. I'm just surprised it didn't come apart, but it didn't, and for that I'm grateful. If you like this video, thumbs up please. I'd sure appreciate it. Your comments are always welcome and I respond to all of them. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly. I truly appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos, about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.